Greetings. So, as you come in the room, if you could please hit that like button. Yes, can you please smash that like button? Gratitude, gratitude. And please share the live and hit the notification button if you haven't so you could be notified when I do go live so you could get these gems. So, greetings, everybody. I'm Jazzy Gems, and this is the live. Okay, so we are going to talk about portals. Let me show you something. Oh, it's not going to show. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, so this is an image of a portal. Okay, so we can remember seeing portals in greetings. We can remember seeing portals in cartoons such as Johnny Quest, He-Man, She-Ra, like cartoons in the 80s, the Thundercats, they were going through portals. So we understood at a young age what portals was, right? So portals are also energy centers. Most energy centers, because let's talk about heaven. We all know that the way we was taught here on earth that you must die to go to heaven, right? So that means your flesh cannot go into the next dimension. So there are dimensions of reality. Okay? So when we dealing with dimensions of reality, we are dealing with energetic centers known as portals. And inside of you, you have what is known as chakra centers. These chakra centers are also portals because each chakra center is responsible for the flow of energy. So, a lot of us are not enlightened about our chakras, how to heal them, how to unblock them, how to know if they blocked. So, I want to let you know something that your energy is going to travel through this portal. Greetings. So let's say, for instance, that you have a negative energy. That negative energy is going to flow through that portal because you have to think your chakra centers are portals. Your chakra centers are vortexes of energy. So when you have disease and disorder, these are things that, like, disorder is anything that is not in alignment with the laws of my eye. So the laws of my eye, the laws of nature, the laws of the universe, you have to be in alignment with these laws, right? Because you are the law. You are the land, you are the air, and you are the water, which all of these are portals. You understand that? We got portals here on earth. You're looking at a physical one. This is an earth portal. You have portals inside of water where, like, even on the movie Constantine, they show you how Constantine goes to another dimension known as hell and he travels through water. Even when the baby comes from its mother womb, that baby came through the water. So we definitely know and got facts and receipts that waters are portals. Yes. So greetings. So we are talking about the portals that are inside of us. We're talking about the energy centers that are in us. We're talking about how energy moves through us, and how you have to let energy flow. And you can't let this energy flow through you when you unheal. Why? Because when you unheal, you start holding on to things, and that causes blockages. So let's say, for instance, in your root chakra. Your root chakra is where your first stages of your life took place. These are the first years of your life. These are the first experiences that you had. This is all connected to your root. So your root is your beginning. So this is how you start forming your opinions in the first place. This is how you felt this type of way in the first place. You get what I'm saying? Like at that young age, between 1 and 7, your mind is developing. And when you were a child, your mind is so open that you have a vivid imagination. Very vivid imagination where you can see things clear. Your creativity is on high. Your energy is flowing. And when you start experiencing trauma, when you start experiencing rejection, when you start experiencing lack, going through the motions, at this age is where you start developing a mindset about life, about how you treat it, about who you are. You start your little personality starts to develop. And once your personality starts developing within that root chakra, that affects your sacral chakra. So your sacral chakra is your emotions. So let's say, for instance, in your root chakra, you never learned how to communicate properly, or you never learned how to emotionally connect with people on a healthy level. That means when it's time to access your feelings, you may not feel loved, or you may not feel connections with people. Why? Because in your root chakra, you experience issues of not being able to connect. So therefore, when you became an adult, you're an adult that have issues connecting with others. And this type of stuff ends up showing up in our adult life. And we begin to ruin relationships. We begin to, make our own life hard, because we lack knowledge that our energy is not flowing correctly. Because when you start healing your energy, so your energy can flow correctly, this is walking. Walking, because that stimulates the cardiovascular system. That's going to get that heart beating. That's going to get that blood pumping. That's going to get you sweating. That's going to get you to detox those emotions. That's going to get you to start letting go and releasing. See, a lot of us hold on to things and we sit in it. We sit and we soak in what it is we going through. Why? Because we have to teach ourselves how to practice better habits, especially when we are being affected by energy. Energy in motion is emotions. Emotions are feelings. Feelings are natural. But those of us that have experienced trauma, those of us that have experienced what is it, post traumatic stress syndrome. I talk about that all the time. I've been diagnosed with that. And I make my content for people like that, because it is so difficult to Like it's like you not. It's okay. So can I talk about the post traumatic stress syndrome for one moment? When you have post traumatic stress syndrome, let me explain to you people. Let me explain something to you. What you've been through start controlling your life. Whatever it is, whatever it is, it's like being in a war zone. So you can have triggers. These triggers are uncontrollable when you have post traumatic stress syndrome. So that means, let's say for instance, the color yellow trigger you. Somebody say the color yellow, you just lose it, you crying, you a mess. You have your triggers. Um, what I've been doing for it is explaining to myself, because what is happening, let me explain to you mentally what's happening. Your man don't know the difference between going through something or thinking about going through something. And because it's called post-traumatic stress syndrome, you went through something so traumatizing that it had an effect on your whole body. When you experience trauma inside your body, first of all, you are experiencing disease in your body. Trauma opens up for disease. Why? Because you no longer at peace. Why? Because you just had a traumatic experience. So inflammation is at an all-time high in your body. Inflammation is the breeding ground for diseases. So you open yourself up for any disease that's out here flowing around in the air. Why? Because you just compromised your immune system. Why? Because you just went through a traumatic experience. That experience had an effect on your whole body, your immune system, your central nervous system, your muscular system, your cardiovascular system. This is why people end up stressed out, having heart attacks and strokes. People end up stressed out, having anxiety, tightness of chest, hyperventilating, panic attacks. This is real. And it happens from going through traumatic experiences. It could be an acute traumatic experience or it could be several traumatic experiences. However, in your mind, if you're triggered, you in your mind you reliving that trauma. It only takes just a thought to remember the trauma. The trauma was so severe, it's like having flashbacks. So it's like any given time, somebody can say something and you can have a flashback. Now you reliving that trauma. Now you back in that moment. Now, excuse me, you back in that mindset. Because the mind don't know the difference between thinking about it and actually going through it. So the fact that you went through something in your mind, it's going to keep replaying itself over and over in your mind until you learn how to rewire your brain. Now, there are games that you can play to strengthen your brain strengthening games. There are crossword puzzles you can do. Um, Actually look up rewiring your brain. Actually research how to do it. So you can really learn when you start having that moment how you can calm yourself down. How you can talk yourself through it. How you can keep yourself focused. Because that is no way to live your life. with that controlling every aspect of your life. You can't go outside no more. You can't go hang with people no more. You can't do this. You can't do that. And it's not like people, people are mad at you because people feel like you got control over this. People are like, why don't you come do this? Why don't you come? They don't understand you dealing with something in your mind. They don't understand you dealing with something that got you messed up in your head. Your mind can play tricks on you for real. That's why you got to learn how to quiet your mind. That's what meditation is, quieting the mind. When you learn, you got to study what meditation is. Study it so you can make sure you're doing it really well. Study it so you can realize what are the benefits so you can make sure you're getting them. Study to know how to do it because this is something that's going to change your life. It's quieting the mind from negative thoughts. Quieting the mind from people-pleasing thoughts. Quieting the mind from trauma. Quieting the mind from things people said. Just all of that stuff that just keep on the conundrum that just be in your mind. It quiets it. So when you're able to quiet the mind, meditate, do your yoga, so you can move the energy around in the body so it doesn't sit stagnant, so it can flow. Once it flows, that's where the energy is going through the portals. Right? Because it can go through the root chakra and go on to the sacral chakra and go on to the solar plexus and go on and so forth, right? So now it's able to flow. And when you have healed energy in those chakras, what type of energy do you attract through those chakras? Because we watch the movie Sinners and we learn anytime we got good energy, negative energy gonna bring itself. So if you aware that your chakras is energy centers and they portals, and it's positive and it's negative energy coming with it. This is where you have to be spiritually prepared to deal with this negative energy that's coming your way through these portals. You got to think about it. These folk been opening up all type of portals. Have you seen them? So when they open up these portals, they let energy out. Energy that affects people. But people that lack knowledge of chakra centers, they don't understand how, when this negative energy is let out, how it affects you. And some people who don't know how to raise their vibration, they get stuck in that negative energy. Why? Because they don't know how to raise their vibration. Why? Because they lack knowledge that they got vibration. They lack knowledge that they are energy centers. They lack knowledge that energy has been released. They lack knowledge that if they don't meditate and do this yoga so they can actually prepare themselves for the spiritual battle. Because the battle is in your mind. You got to be strong enough to have mind over matter. You got to be strong enough to realize it's a problem and I got the solution for it. You got to be strong enough to realize it's just a moment and trouble don't last always. You got to be able to speak life over your situations and circumstances. Why? Because that shit will worry you. You know what I found out about worrying? They say when you worry, you suffering twice. I know that just changed somebody's mindset, didn't it? It did for me. Because if you worry, you just worrying, you just suffering twice. So I'm going through whatever I'm going through, but I'm worrying about it too. So now I'm just suffering twice. Because when you worry about stuff, what do you attract? Low frequencies. Why? Because worry is a low frequency. So when we walk around with these low frequency energies, we attract what? Low frequency energies. We have to be aware of this since we walk in portals. Because these energies will come through us and manifest. These energies will come through us and become physical. These energies will come through us and express themselves. Wow, but we attracted the energy because we didn't know that we was a portal. We attracted the energy because we didn't know that we was unhealed. We attracted this energy because we didn't know that we needed to work on ourselves to raise our vibration so we wouldn't even attract this low frequency stuff. Knowledge is power. But I'm going to show you some more images of these stargates before I go. Remember I was explaining how all of this is as technology. There's a portal too. Look at that one. That's actually a vote right there. So something is kept in there. This is in the Bermuda Triangle. So it actually has a combination here for this. So it's like some type of degree combination you got to put together in order to get that activated. It looks like it got some type of keyhole that goes to it too, where you can unlock it. But yeah, so I said what I had to say. I give gratitude to those of y'all that made it to the end. Yeah, so just wanted to drop that video right here. And I'll talk to you beautiful souls real soon. Peace.